promising young Dutch medical student stepped away from her safari companions in Uganda's untamed Murchison Falls National Park for a quick trip to the latrine, and simply never returned, vanishing without a trace despite an immediate frantic search. For nearly a decade, her devoted mother clung to fading hope amid whispers of wild animal attacks, until a team of wildlife researchers stumbled upon a hidden clue in the dense bush that unraveled a web of secrets and shattered the official story forever. The cheap motel painting of a roaring lion stared down at Nora Vandenberg like a cruel joke from the wall of her dimly lit room in Kampala. Outside, the African night had swallowed the last light of October 28, 2015, leaving only the distant hum of insects and the faint roar of the Nile River echoing from Murchison Falls National Park. It was 7:45 p.m., 45 minutes past when her daughter Mira should have called or texted from the end of her safari day. Nora paced the threadbare carpet, her phone clutched like a lifeline. Mira Jansen, 21, was no reckless tourist. A third-year medical student from Amsterdam, she had just wrapped up a grueling 2-month internship at a local hospital, treating everything from malaria to childbirth complications. This safari was her reward, a 17-day adventure with 2 close friends, Tessa and Bram, guided by a local man named Jamal Mubiru. Mira's text that morning had bubbled with excitement, photos of elephants at the water's edge, a video of her laughing as a monkey stole a snack from her pack. "Park is magic, Mom. Can't wait to tell you everything." The last message read at 4:12 p.m. Nora had smiled then, proud of her daughter's independence. But now, as the clock hit 8:15 p.m., that pride twisted into a knot of fear. Mira was meticulous, always checking in. With spotty cell service in the park, they'd agreed on a 7 p.m. deadline. Something felt off. By 9 p.m., panic set in. Nora's hand shook as she dialed the park's emergency line, her voice steady but edged with desperation. "My daughter, Mira Jansen, she's missing. She's with a group at the Para-Education Center. Please, send help." At the park's ranger station, the call jolted senior ranger Elias Okumu from his evening tea. A grizzled veteran with 25 years patrolling these wilds, Okumu knew the dangers: crocodiles lurking in the Nile, hippos charging from the grass, lions prowling at dusk. But a missing tourist, especially a young woman alone, that carried extra urgency. He mobilized a team immediately, flashlights cutting through the dark as they scoured the area around the latrine block, a simple concrete structure 50 yards from the group's tents. Mira had excused herself around 6 p.m., right after their boat tour on the river. Her friends assumed she'd be back in minutes. When she wasn't, they called her name, then searched nearby paths. Nothing. The rangers expanded the hunt, voices echoing in the night. By dawn, hope flickered. A searcher spotted something odd near a cluster of acacia trees by the riverbank. Mira's shoes, neatly placed side by side on the ground. Her purse lay nearby, contents intact, wallet, phone charger, a half-eaten granola bar. Scattered around were torn scraps of her khaki pants as if ripped in haste. And most bizarrely, her underwear dangled from a branch 5 meters up, hung deliberately, like a flag of distress or something sinister. An empty water bottle with her initials scratched on it sat crumpled beside a rock. No blood, no footprints, no sign of struggle. Just this eerie tableau, staged in the wilderness. Okumu's gut twisted. Animal attack? Crocs would drag a body whole. Poachers? Unlikely for a student. Suicide? Mira's family swore she was happy, managing her mild anxiety with meds. The arrangement screamed human involvement, too precise for nature's chaos. Word spread fast. Ugandan police arrived by mid-morning, sealing the site. Nora flew in from the Netherlands the next day, her face pale against the equatorial sun. She collapsed at the scene, touching the shoes as tears streamed. This isn't her. She wouldn't leave things like this. The search ballooned, helicopters thumping overhead, rangers on foot, even sniffer dogs from Kampala. They combed miles of bush, the Nile's edges treacherous with hidden currents. Days turned to weeks. No body, No clues. Authorities leaned on the wildlife theory. Mira slipped into the river, taken by crocs, but Nora rejected it. Her clothes were placed, not torn off. Whispers grew. Foul play by the guide? Jamal Mubiru was unlicensed, a budget hire, or locals covering for tourism. The park drew thousands. A murder would scare them away. Mira's friends recounted the day, a boat ride spotting giraffes, then camp setup. Mira seemed fine, no arguments. But one detail nagged. She mentioned feeling watched during a solo walk earlier. By month 2, media frenzy hit. Dutch headlines screamed, "Vanished in the wild." Nora set up a foundation, Find Mira, pouring savings into private investigators. She made trip after trip to Uganda, 15 in the first year alone, interviewing rangers, villagers. One claimed seeing a white woman with locals post-disappearance, but police dismissed it. DNA on the underwear? Unidentified male traces, but labs were slow. The case cooled. Years passed. Nora aged visibly, her hope a fragile thread. Public theories swirled online. Trafficking, assault, even Mira faking it for a new life. Nora fought back in interviews. My girl loved medicine, loved people. She wouldn't run. Then, in 2024, a break. Wildlife researchers from a Nairobi university studying hippo migration rappelled into a remote ravine 5 miles from the site. Deep in the crevice, snagged on roots, was a faded blue backpack, Mira's, identified by a stitched initials inside. It held a journal, pages waterlogged but legible, and a clue that flipped everything. Entries hinting at a stalker from her hospital internship. The find reignited the hunt, forensics peeling back layers of time. But that's jumping ahead. Back in 2015, as the initial search wound down, Nora sat alone in her motel, the lion painting mocking her. If this tale of loss and mystery grips you, hit like and subscribe for more unsolved enigmas. We'll dive deeper. The backpack's secrets would wait years to surface, but the truth was buried closer than anyone knew. The blue backpack lay heavy in the researchers' hands, its faded nylon whispering secrets as they hauled it from the ravine. Inside, Mira's journal pages clung together like forgotten prayers, ink blurred but words sharp. Hospital guy followed me again today, said he'd see me in the bush. Told Jamal, but he laughed it off. A photo tucked between pages showed Mira with a smiling patient but scrawled on the back, "Watch your back here." The find hit like thunder. Dr. Lena Voss, a sharp-eyed forensic expert from Kampala's main lab, took charge. Not your standard crime scene pro, she specialized in trace evidence from the wild, piecing together stories from pollen grains and soil samples. Her setup was a cluttered tent near the ravine, microscopes humming under solar lamps, air thick with the scent of earth and chemicals. "This isn't just lost gear," she muttered, gloved hands teasing open the zipper. "It's a time capsule." First, the basics, fingerprints smudged but partial. None matched Mira's friends or Jamal. Soil on the straps, reddish clay from the park's eastern edge, miles from the latrine site. Pollen analysis pointed to acacias and fever trees, blooming in hidden gullies, not the open riverbank. The journal's water damage? Minimal, suggesting short exposure, not years buried. Carbon dating on a fabric scrap pegged it to late 2015, no weathering beyond a decade. Voss's team ran UV scans on the pages, measuring dye fade. 2 years max in direct sun, she reported. The rest? Sheltered. Dry cave, maybe a poacher's hut. The revelation rippled out. The ravine wasn't a grave. It was a drop site. Someone had stashed the pack, then ditched it recently, perhaps spooked by the researchers' chatter. Nora, Mira's mother, flew in again, her 29th trip, eyes hollow but fierce. She clutched the journal like a relic, tracing her daughter's looping script. She was scared. Why didn't anyone listen? Back at the ranger station, Senior Ranger Okamu dusted off old files. The 2015 search had been a beast. 200 rangers, Dutch embassy choppers buzzing low, even Interpol sniffing for trafficking rings. They'd gridded 50 square kilometers, dogs barking at false scents, but leads dried up fast. Jamal swore Mira just wandered off. Maybe a manic episode from her anxiety meds. Tessa and Bram backed him, though Tessa later whispered to Nora about Mira seeming off after a fever in Kadipo Valley. That detail nagged now. Court docs from 2025, Jamal's trial for unlicensed guiding, painted a messier picture. Witnesses said Mira tried jumping from the van days before, ranting about shadows in the bush. Park officials urged a hospital stop. Jamal pushed on. He ignored warnings. Nora spat in a sworn statement, voice cracking over video link. Knew she was unwell. The trial dragging into September 2025 at Uganda Road Court wasn't just about fines. Prosecutors eyed negligence in Mira's vanishing, subpoenas flying for cell pings and witness logs long buried. Okumu looped in hydrologists. Flash floods scar these lands. Could the pack have floated from upstream? Models ran on laptops, tracing Nile tributaries backward. Paths converged on a narrow gorge. Widow's Whisper, a slot canyon choked with vines, barely searched in 15 due to croc nests. Water doesn't forget, one expert said. It carries what men hide. Nora joined the new push, boots caked in mud as teams rappelled in. No body, but a glint. A rusted bracelet, Mira's, silver with a tiny stethoscope charm, snagged on roots. Nearby, boot prints in dried silt, size 10 men's, fresh as last rain, not Jamal's. Voss's lab buzzed. DNA from the bracelet? Partial match to unidentified male from the 2015 underwear. Same guy, she confirmed. Sweat traces, skin cells. He touched her last. Theories cracked open. Trafficking. Uganda's parks hid rings snatching tourists for ransom or worse. But Mira's journal hinted personal. That hospital stalker, a janitor named Ravi, fired for creeping on interns. Nora had a name now. Doug from old emails. Ravi vanished post-disappearance, but tips placed him in Gulu, moonlighting as a poacher. Okumu's network lit up. Poachers knew every crevice, traded whispers for cash. One informant, a grizzled hunter with a scarred lip, traded info for amnesty. Saw a white girl dragged to a boat that night. Guide argued, took money to shut up. Jamal? Nora's blood boiled. In court he stonewalled, but cross-exam cracked him, admitted pocketing bribes to skip safety checks. She was fine, he lied. Tessa, crumbling under oath, confessed. Mira said Ravi followed them from Kampala. We thought it was paranoia. The gorge search intensified. Drones buzzed overhead, thermal cams hunting heat signatures. Nora, 52 now but unbowed, hacked through thorns herself. She's out there, she told Okumu, voice steel. A comma, not a period. On day 3, a shout echoed. Deep in Widow's Whisper, wedged in a overhang slick with bat guano, was a cave, shallow, dry, smelling of old fear. Flashlights danced over walls scratched with dates. 10:28, help. Mira's handwriting. Bones scattered the floor, small animal maybe, but human. A femur fragment, fractured clean. Voss airlifted it out, her face grim. Female, early 20s, matches height. Dental prelims sealed it. Mira's. Nora shattered in the tent, sobs raw as the Nile's roar. But wait, the cave held more. Tucked in a crevice, a crude knife, blade etched with R, Ravi's mark, and a scrap of cloth, bloodied, not hers. The story twisted darker. Mira hadn't slipped away. She'd run, cornered, fought. The stalker caught up. Jamal turned blind eye for hush money. Poachers finished it, dumping the pack to erase ties. Or was it staged? Voss's final report dropped bombs. Blood on cloth matched Ravi's profile from a 2016 arrest. He was there. Cut bad, maybe she got a swipe. Okumu's raid hit Gulu at dawn. Ravi's shack empty, but neighbors fingered him. Fled to Sudan after a white girl's ghost haunted him. Border alerts went out, Interpol wheels turning. Nora, amid grief's fresh wave, found steel again. Justice now. The cave's shadows hid one last echo. A locket, Mira's, with Nora's photo inside. clutched tight. If this unraveling of hidden horrors pulls you deeper, smash that like button and subscribe. We're just scratching the surface of what the bush conceals. The locket's discovery cut like a fresh wound, its tarnished silver holding Nora's faded smile. A mother's face Mira had kissed goodbye in Amsterdam. Okumu bagged it carefully, the chain snapping like brittle bone under his fingers. She fought to keep this, he said, voice low in the cave's hush. Voss nodded, swabbing for prints, but her mind raced ahead. The bloodied cloth? Not Mira's type, AB positive, rare here. Ravi's profile matched a poacher bust in 2016, where he'd slashed his arm fleeing rangers. He was cut deep, she told Nora later, over weak tea in a Kampala safe house. Your girl got him good. Nora's eyes, red-rimmed from dust and tears, hardened. Then he's bleeding out there somewhere. Find him. The raid on Gulu yielded ghosts. Ravi's shack gutted, floorboards pried for hidden cash, walls scarred with knife marks. Neighbors spun tales over shared ugali, a twitchy man with a limp vanishing north after cursing a white spirit. Sudan border posts buzzed with alerts, but whispers hinted he'd doubled back, holing up in Karamoja's lawless hills. Okumu's old contacts, poacher turncoats, traded scraps. Ravi ran with a crew smuggling ivory and worse. Tourists snatched for quick ransoms, dumped if they fought. Mira's journal entry burned now. Ravi's eyes followed me from the ward, said the bush would swallow me whole. Had he tailed her from Kampala, hitching rides to the park? Jamal's trial footage, leaked online, showed cracks. Under oath on August 5, 2025, he fidgeted, sweat beading on his brow as prosecutor Miriam Nzubuga pressed. You knew she was unwell, jumping from the van in Kadipo, ranting about shadows. Why push to Murchison? Jamal shrugged, voice oily. She signed the waiver. Tourists get fevers. But Stephen Nyadru, Kadipo's chief warden, testified sharp. I warned him. Girl tried leaping from the vehicle. Manic, they said. Advised a doctor. He laughed, drove off. The courtroom in Buganda Road hummed. Nora in the gallery, fists clenched. Tessa, Mira's friend, took the stand next, voice trembling. Sophia, sorry Mira, was off after Kadipo. Meds mixed with malaria pills, maybe. But Ravi? She mentioned him once. A creep from the hospital. We joked it away. Bram nodded from the back, guilt etching his face. Jamal took side cash in Gulu, tips from locals, said it was normal. Nzubuga pounced. Locals like poachers? Men who know the river's blind spots? Jamal's eyes darted. The judge adjourned, but leaks hit X that night. 83K views on a thread. Guide sold her out? Find Mira. Nora's foundation flooded with tips. A boatman spotting a limp man with a white girl near the falls weeks after. Police logs subpoenaed at last showed withheld calls. Unlicensed ferries running night routes. Cell pings from Ravi's burner near Paraa. Voss's lab cranked overtime. The locket's interior? Faint fingerprints Ravi's from the 2016 file. The knife? Forged in Gulu workshops. Handle wrapped in frayed sisal, poacher style. He cornered her by the latrine. Voss sketched on a napkin. She scratched, ran to the riverbank, scratched help in the cave. He caught up, fight, he bleeds. Drags her to a boat, traffickers waiting. Nora paced the safe house, map pinned to the wall. But the clothes? Staged to look like animals. Okumu nodded grimly. Classic misdirect. Crocs don't hang underwear 5 meters up. The gorge's walls seemed to close in as teams fanned out from Widow's Whisper, drones humming like angry bees. Nora, machete in hand, led a sweep along a dry tributary. Flash floods had carved it years back per hydrological sims. She'd hide here, she murmured, knowing her daughter's smarts. A rustle in the fever trees. Rangers froze. Not wildlife. A scrawny kid, no older than 12, bolted from a thicket, dropping a burlap sack. Inside, ivory tusks, small, illegal haul. The boy spilled under questioning, eyes wide. Uncle Ravi, He limps, hides in the hills. Took a girl once, white skin, for the bosses in Sudan. She screamed, bit him. He dumped her in the Nile after. Nora's breath caught. Dumped where? The kid pointed north toward the fall's roar. Divers plunged in at dawn, murky waters churning with croc shadows. Hours ticked, bubbles rising empty. Then a snag on a hook, not bones. Fabric, Mira's sun hat, frayed but unmistakable, tangled in weeds 200 meters downstream. Voss examined it under lamps. No body attached, washed free. Hope flickered, cruel. If dumped alive. Nora refused the dark. She's a fighter. Court reconvened September 10th, 2025. Insabuga dropped the bomb. Ravi's DNA on the underwear, confirmed. Jamal cracked, whispering off record. Ravi paid me 500,000 shillings to look away. Said she'd wander off, join his family in the north. The gallery gasped. Tessa sobbed. But Ravi? Slipped the net again. Sightings in Juba markets. Interpol's net tightened, but borders bled like old wounds. Nora testified last, voice steady as the Nile. Mira dreamed of healing here. Don't let her end in silence. The judge nodded. Case open. Warrants issued. Outside, rain lashed Kampala, washing streets clean. But in the bush, secrets festered. One more lead burned. A poacher's cache in Karamoja, raided quiet-like. Inside, not ivory, but a passport, Mira's, stamped fake, dated 2016. Stashed with Ravi's bloodied shirt. Trafficked, Okumu breathed, kept alive for leverage. Nora's heart hammered. Was she still out there, renamed, broken? The script flipped. No accident, no animals. A hunt, personal and vast. Teams mobilized north, Nora at the fore. If this twist of betrayal and buried lives hooks you tight, drop a like and subscribe. We're chasing shadows to the border next. The passport's pages fluttered like trapped birds in Okumu's gloved hands, Mira's photo staring out. Young, eyes bright with that unyielding spark. Fake stamps blurred Gulu to Juba, dated November 2016, a year after she'd vanished. Tucked beside it, Ravi's shirt, stiff with old blood, fibers matching the cave's cloth. She lived, Nora whispered, finger tracing the ink. Long enough to be moved. Voss's voice cut the air, clinical, but laced with awe. No drowning. This is trafficking residue. Passports forged for wives or labor in Sudan camps. The Karamoja raid had been surgical. Dawn choppers dropping rangers into thorn-choked valleys. Poacher camps torched for ivory stashes. But this? A ghost's breadcrumb. Ravi's crew scattered like roaches, but one holdout, a wiry woman with henned hands, cracked under lantern light. Ravi took the white girl, yeah. Fought like a leopard, clawed his face. Bosses in Juba wanted fresh meat for the markets. Tourists fetch euros. She spat tobacco juice. He dumped the pack after, said she slowed the boat. Nora's knees buckled. Dumped where? Alive? The woman shrugged. River or worse. Ravi limps bad now, hides in the Kafia Kingi, lawless spit between borders. Okumu's radio crackled. Interpol confirming. Ravi's face, scarred fresh in a 2017 blurry cam from a Juba souk, matched Mira's journal sketch. The hunt crossed wires now, Dutch embassy leaning on Khartoum channels. But Uganda's courts burned hotter. Buganda Road, September 12, 2025. Today, the air thick as Nora took the stand again, her 30th trip etching lines deeper. Chief Magistrate Ronald Kayizi's gavel cracked like thunder, resuming Jamal's trial after August's adjournment. Negligence bordering on complicity, Nsubuga thundered, waving the passport like a blade. You ferried her to killers for 500,000 shillings? Jamal slouched, chains clinking, his unlicensed sins now laced with blood money. She wandered, I swear. Fever made her crazy, jumped in Kadipo, filmed strangers. But Zachary Oboya, Kadipo's ranger, countered from the box, voice gravel. Called you that night? Girl manic interviewing locals at gunpoint with her iPad. Said shadows chased her. You drove on. The gallery murmured. Tessa, hollow-cheeked, testified next. Mira whispered about Ravi weeks back. Hospital creep, followed her to the van. We laughed, thought meds talking. But the campfire. She stayed up with Ugandan men, videos on her pad, convinced us not to call Nora. Bram nodded, tears streaking. Jamal pocketed tips in Gulu, poacher cash, said keep quiet. And Sabuga pivoted. And the underwear in the tree? Your misdirect? Jamal's eyes darted to the lion clock, 9:43 a.m., ticking like fate. Outside, Kampala's horns blared, but inside, silence crushed. Kayizi adjourned for DNA cross-checks, whispers of collusion swirling, police burying logs to shield tourism, UWA turning blind eyes. Nora's foundation site crashed from tips, 83kx views on a thread. Guide sold her? Find Mira now. One post from a Juba expat. Saw a scarred Ugandan with a renamed girl 2017, quiet, haunted, called her Lila. Nora's pulse raced. Lila, a code? She flew north that night, Okumu's team tailing, borders blurring in monsoon haze. Kafia Kingi was hell's appendix, militia turf, refugees shuffling like shades. Drones skimmed treetops, thermals hunting clusters. Day 1, nothing but AK echoes. Day 2, a camp, canvas flaps sagging. Rangers crept close, hearts pounding. Inside, a man with a limp, Ravi, hunched over a fire, face a map of scars. No girl. But his satchel? Mira's locket, chain broken, pawned for gin. She bit me, he rasped when cuffed, eyes wild. Fought the boatmen. They threw her to the Crocs after Juba. Too much trouble. Lies or truth? Voss flew in samples. Locket swabs matched Mira's saliva, fresh as yesterday. Recent handling. Ravi cracked en route to Kampala, voice a hiss. Paid Jamal to lag the group. Cornered her at latrines. Dragged to the Nile skiff. Bosses wanted her for the chain. Europeans pay big. But she scratched, screamed. In Juba, they broke her. Dumped the body in the White Nile, weights tied. Nora listened via speaker, world tilting. Body? Ravi shrugged. Crocs feast quick, no trace. But the passport said 2016, alive then. Divers hit the White Nile at dusk, currents churning secrets. Hooks snagged weeds, bones of fish. Then, a thud, not rock, a femur, etched with riverware, female 20s. Dental prelims, Mira's. Nora wailed in the ops tent, grief a storm. My girl. Voss knelt, arm around her. She fought. That's her mark. Court exploded next day. Ravi extradited, chained beside Jamal. And Sabuga wove it. Unlicensed guide, stalker payoff, trafficking drop. Kayizi's eyes narrowed. Premeditated endangerment. Verdict loomed, but Nora stared out at the Nile's bend, locket in fist. Closure? Or another layer? A final tip burned in. A Sudanese clinic log, 2017. Lila, white girl, treated for bites, discharged to poachers. Alive? The bush lied quiet, but Nora's fire raged. Not over. If this border-crossing chase of ghosts and grudges leaves you breathless, hit like and subscribe. Truth's last bend awaits. The clinic log's faded entry blurred under Voss's magnifying glass. Lila scrawled in hasty script beside bite wounds fever, female Caucasian approx. 22. Discharged to K traders, dated March 2017. Alive, hidden, passed like cargo. Nora's breath hitched, the safehouse walls closing in as Okumu read it aloud. Voice a rumble over the Nile's distant thunder. Juba outskirts. Poacher routes to the camps. Not dumped. Sold. The word hung. Venomous. Ravi's confession had cracked the dam, but this log, smuggled from a border dock bribed with Nora's foundation cash, painted horror. Mira surviving the Nile drag, patched in shadows, then chained to traffickers bound for labor dens or worse. She was breathing. Nora choked. Fists white on the table. My fighter. Okumu's face, etched like old bark, softened. We go now, before the rains wipe trails. The push north ignited. A convoy of Rangers and Interpol shadows slicing through Sudan's dust-choked flats. Nora rode shotgun in the lead jeep, locket swinging from the mirror like a talisman, her 31st trip no longer vigil, but vendetta. Kafia Kingi sprawled lawless, militias ghosting between thorn scrub, refugees' eyes hollow as the wells. Drones clawed the sky, thermals blooming false hopes, goat herds, camp smokes. Day 4. A tip from a goat herd, palms greased. Limper with scars, took a white ghost girl to the pits, 2 moons back from your year mark. Pits? Voss's maps lit up. Abandoned gold mines near Ye, trafficker black holes for holdings. The team rappelled into one at dusk, air fetid with rot and rust. Flashlights stabbed shadows, chains rusted on walls, scraps of cloth, khaki like mirrors. A water jug, Dutch labeled. Nora's hand flew to her mouth. Here, but empty. A fresh boot print, Ravi's size, let out. They tailed it to a river ford, engine growls fading into night. Ravi's trail snaked to a Juba slum, shanties leaning like drunks under acacia shade. Dawn raid, doors splintered, shouts in Swahili and Arabic. He bolted from a mud hut, limp flaring, but Okumu's tackle dropped him in the dust. Cuffed, Ravi spat curses, face a ruin of scars, Mira's mark, deep across his cheek. The girl? Bit me like a hyena. Bosses broke her in the pits, fever took her, or the guards. Buried shallow, Nile side. Lies twisted his tongue, but Voss's kit worked fast. Soil from his boots matched the cave, fibers from Mira's hat. You dragged her, sold her. Ravi's eyes flickered, guilt or greed. Jamal got 200,000 more to forget. She scratched help, ran to the boat, fought the whole way. Nora loomed, voice ice. Where's her body? He jerked, chin north. White Nile bend, under the baobab, weights and weeds. Divers hit the spot at noon, currents a brown fury, croc eyes glinting. Hours dragged, hooks scraping silt. Then, a net snag, heavy. Up came bones, slender, female, femur fractured like the caves. Dental x-rays beamed to Kampala, Mira's, irrefutable. Nora crumpled on the bank, keening into the wind. Locket clutched till knuckles bled. My comma. Full stop. But the log screamed contradiction. 2017 discharge, a live post-burial tale. Ravi smirked through bruises. Twins? No. The bosses flipped her. Lila for a buyer, shipped east. Kenya camps, maybe. Nora surged up, eyes blaze. Alive? He shrugged. Check the logs. Back in Baganda Road, September 12th, 2025. Today, under a sky bruised purple, the courtroom pulsed. Chief Magistrate Kayizi's bench loomed as Nsubuga unveiled the log. Ravi chained beside Jamal, both faces ashen. Trafficking chain, guide's bribe, stalker's drag, border dump. Witnesses piled, the goat herd via video, clinic doc sweating under oath. Treated her, bites from chains, not animals, called her Lila to hide. Tessa, voice a whisper from Amsterdam Link. Mira filmed those campfire men, poacher talk, warned us. Bram broke last. Jamal's phone pinged Ravi's that night. Hush money. Kayizi's gavel fell like fate. Guilty, negligent homicide, aiding abduction, 20 years. Cheers rippled, but Nora stood stone, victory ash. Outside monitor headlines blared. Justice for Sophia Mira, after decade. X threads exploded, 92K views. Find Mira lives? Her foundation surged, tips flooding. A Kenyan farm girl, pale, renamed, matching age. Nora booked the flight, 30-second trip. The bush had taken her daughter, but not her fire. Comma or period I chase. In Kampala's haze, as rain scrubbed the streets, Nora touched the locket one last time. Mira's eyes smiled back, fighter to the end. The Nile roared on, secrets half spilled. But for a mother, the hunt never closed. If this saga of shadows, scars, and unyielding love grips your soul, smash that like